when jurors first sat down in a San Francisco courtroom, they were walking into a case that had violence, drug use, high-flying lifestyles, and the tech culture. Nima Momeni is on trial for the murder of Cash App founder Bob Lee, and we've seen twists and turns since day one. Now what's happened in the 6 days since deliberations began has surprised even the defense. Now, the biggest question the jury has to answer is whether or not Momeni intended to kill Lee under the Bay Bridge on April 4th, 2023. And they have to weed through a complicated web of evidence. There's surveillance video, painstaking testimony about forensics, plus the bombshell claim from the defense that Lee snorted cocaine off the same knife that was plunged into his chest. And jurors were treated to a courtroom reenactment from Nima Momeni himself, showing the moments before Lee was stabbed. Our Lauren Toms was at the Hall of Justice earlier today and has the latest on what we're hearing about the jury.
Sarah, jurors rounding out their 6th day of deliberations, still with no unanimous verdict, suggesting there could be a split amongst the group. Now, we have learned that jurors have asked several questions, including one that surprised defense attorneys, but all of this happening behind closed doors with no indication of when a verdict may come or what that verdict may be.
A jury pool of 12 San Franciscans are staying on to continue deliberations after 6 long, painstaking days, deciding the fate of Nima Momeni. In a first for the judge, jurors have asked for more time to deliberate past the last day set by that judge during jury selection that would allow jurors to go back to their regular lives. But each juror opting to finish the job of unanimously agreeing on a verdict. Momeni's attorney, Sam Zangane, telling reporters it's no easy task for juries, Momeni, or for the families.
When you have other people deciding your fate, waiting an hour is an eternity, right? Imagine waiting 6 days.
Members of the jury whose identities remain hidden for safety reasons have bonded in the last 2 months since uniting during jury selection. Throughout the trial, they've asked dozens of questions to witnesses, signaling they're inquisitive and thorough, but remaining closed-lipped on where they may land on a verdict.
So they've endured a lot, and I know that they want to complete their job, right? I think that's what they're trying to do. But we're at the conclusion of day 6, and there's no answer.
Attorney Shannon Dugan, who sat through the trial and jury deliberation, says they have one of the hardest jobs in this case as the weight of their responsibility hangs heavy.
But when it comes time to evaluate that evidence and make a decision when they've got a man's life in their hands with Nima Momeni, or having someone take accountability for taking a man's life like Bob Lee, that's a huge responsibility, and they may very well be having very different opinions.
Jurors on Thursday seen embracing and sharing stories, but at times visibly torn about their decision. Zangane saying they're all committed to the job.
12 people that have dedicated a good portion of their year to be away from their families and their jobs, to be dedicated to do this civil service. And, I think that, our hats off to them. That's a tough thing to do.
Now, we have learned that Momeni's defense team is planning to return to their home state of Florida later this evening. And if there is a verdict, they say they plan to appear via Zoom. Now, jurors are expected to return Monday afternoon, which is a slight departure from their typical routine, where they arrive at the courthouse closer to 9:30 in the morning. But that still doesn't give us any indication of where jurors may be in this process. All parties still hoping to avoid a mistrial.
You can find all of our coverage of the trial on our website, KPIX.com, and the free CBS News app.